Welcome to the Locked In Baseball Podcast. I'm William Locke. He is Luis Barranco. It is Friday, April 10th. Another week of baseball is in the books. Luis, how's it going?
How we do, man? It is April 10th, man. It is still but freaking cold some places. It looks like you're freezing right now up wherever you are right now in Chicago. It's officially rain season down here. The weather has turned into, not fun weather here down here.
Well, good thing they have a dome and they don't have to worry about the conditions out there in Lone Depot. We're going to talk about the weather today in today's podcast because it's actually having an impact on the play on the field. Been a lot of injuries, so we'll get to that. I have that at the top. Then we're going to talk some World Series rematch drama. Dodgers played the Blue Jays over the week, and Ohtani's getting some extra time to pitch to get ready in between innings, cause some controversy. We'll chat about that. We'll talk about MLB fights. There were a few MLB fights this week. I have my opinions on MLB fights. We'll talk about that.
What do you think? There's the big one in Atlanta with the Atlanta Anaheim. How about the Natty, William? How are you feeling about the Natty?
That's true.
Michigan greatest Final Four run. I mean, margin of victory, except for I think it was UConn was more than double digits.
Yeah, I guess I should have led with that. National champions, Monday night. Shout out to the boys. They lost in hockey last night to Denver in double OT, so Joe still has bragging rights over me, which is a little frustrating. Mm-hmm. But, basketball is the bigger sport. It was exciting, a lot of fun to watch.
Whoa. Basketball is a bigger sport. I thought hockey's a bigger sport.
For college, basketball championship means more. It was exciting. The game on Monday wasn't that great, but was watching at a Michigan bar in Chicago on Saturday. That was a ton of fun when they just took the belt out for Arizona. Everyone thought that game was going to be close. It was not close. They're one of the better basketball teams college-wise of my lifetime. I don't know. I couldn't give you the best, but I know there's been like way back in the day before I was born, Indiana went undefeated. They were talking about that. So I don't think it's like the best college basketball team of all time, but it's one of the best. And now we got the portal going up and trying to get the roster ready for next year too. Go back to back.
So here's my question. University of Memphis Derrick Rose team 38-2 or this University of Michigan team?
Well, man, and that Memphis team might be the best team to never win a national championship. They were seconds away from winning. They were in the CUSA, so it's kind of hard to say they were better than Michigan.
What do you mean?
I know they were incredible, but they lost to Tennessee, right, that year when it was 1-2 in Memphis, or I can't remember where that game was.
It was 1-2.
I don't know.
They beat USC in overtime. They beat number 5 Georgetown. They beat Cincinnati in Cincinnati. They beat Arizona at home, and that was their big. They beat Connecticut and Oklahoma.
They had a great team. Don't get me wrong, but I think what Michigan did, going undefeated in the Big Ten. Or sorry, not undefeated in the Big Ten. Undefeated in the Big Ten on the road, which is very impressive. I think it's the best Big Ten season of all time, 19-1. That one loss to Wisconsin was when they just could not miss a three-pointer. They made 15 threes that game. This team, and also what I like about this team, and I know people maybe disagree that aren't Michigan fans, but like they were likable dudes. Yaxel, I don't know if you've seen his like TikTok lives and stuff, but he's pretty goofy. He's got a good personality. Like I think after he's done with basketball, he could take over for Charles Barkley and Shaq on that desk because he's a funny dude, man. I like him a lot. He's obviously going to get more media trained for the NBA and all that stuff, but yeah, he's fun. Dude played the championship with one leg basically and wasn't great, was not good, but still scored 13 points. Was a liability on defense, rebounding, missed a lot, but he was a warrior performance. A lot of respect for him for that.
Dane Danger still owns him.
Who?
Dane Danger.
Is that the guy that he was on live with that I didn't know?
How do you not know? Like, how does Alden and like your Memphis friends not told you about Dane Danger when Yaxel was playing for UAB? Like Dane Danger was a center for Illinois who transferred to Memphis, who dropped, I think it was like 30 and 15 on him.
Well, yeah. I mean, he wasn't a center this year; he was a 3. So, but yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So, but regardless, I mean, that's that. I mean, next season's coming around. I mean, the portal is portal combat, but it's baseball season. I mean, there's a lot of ball going on around. I mean, we had a big week this week. I mean, we had, like you said, the fights, the cold weather, and we had a couple good series. So what do you want to kick it off today, William?
I want to start it off with a little – I got to get on my soapbox here. do we need baseball in cold weather states in April?
Yes.
And I know it's great to have baseball back. I love baseball more than anyone else. I also think it's starting to get to the point where it's like a little bit of a player safety issue because look at all the soft tissue injuries we've had just this week alone. In the past week, we've seen, among others, Mookie Betts with an oblique, Brett Rooker with I think an oblique, they're calling it something else. Austin Hayes pulled up with a hamstring. Gabriel Arias pulled up with a hamstring. All in the last week playing in cold weather games, cold weather cities. And I'll say this: it's miserable for the players. The bats are cold as ice. See it with the Yankees right now; they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. It's brutal for the fans. The stadiums are completely empty. You know, no one wants to sit out in a baseball game in 30-degree weather. And look, it's fun on opening day, but after that, it's freaking cold, man. Sitting there for 3 hours, you're shivering. No one's in the stands, and look, I don't. It will never happen. But what if they just played the first few weeks of the season for these cold weather teams in the spring training complexes? It's warmer. You'll sell them out, so it'll still be like it'll be less fans than you get in DC, Baltimore, Chicago, Minnesota. Like, do we need to be playing baseball in Minnesota when it's 30 degrees at night? Like, it's I don't know.
Well, I just think MLB just has a scheduling problem. Like you're scheduling for example, on a Tuesday, on a random Tuesday in April, you're scheduling a Kansas City Royals versus the Cleveland Guardians at 1:10 p.m. I mean, it's not like Cleveland is the metropolis like New York that gets a bunch of tourism and has a bunch of people walking around. 1:10 p.m. is a heinous start on a Tuesday. Let's just be honest. Like it's not Chicago, it's not Wrigley.
There were a few games where it wasn't getaway day, where like it has to be a day game.
The Mets had their stuff moved up this week because of the weather. They moved it the 7. They were supposed to first pitch at 7, but they moved it up to 4:10. It goes on to my thing. Look, William, you want to accuse the cold weather as being the culprit for injuries. William, we just finished spring training like 2 weeks ago. Like it's only week 2 of the season. Just think about it. We went from 0 to 100. I know that they're training through the off season. They're training through February and through spring training. But, injuries happen. It's just going to be a nature of the beast. And when you go from not playing games every day like you were back in February, and then you're slowly put in through spring training, like, yeah, injuries are going to happen at all. I mean, that's just how it's going to happen.
Yeah, I know they'll happen, but also like baseball is different than a basketball where you're pretty much running back and forth nonstop. And I know that's inside, so it's not the best comparison. Or like soccer, they play out in the cold in the UK and even in the United States. Baseball is a very stop and start game. It's played in slow bursts. You'll have your at bat. Maybe you'll strike out, and then you go sit in the dugout for 5 to 10 minutes. Then you'll run out to the field where you're kind of just standing around unless the ball gets hit to you. Then you jog back into the dugout. Like your muscles get cold. So I do feel like this cold weather it makes it more conducive for these soft tissue injuries.
And why doesn't it happen in football when we're playing at Lambeau Field?
It does happen in football, but also
you're making it seem it's often, but like it goes to my point. Like again, I think the bigger culprit is that you just started the season. You go from spring training where it's just like the games are like you don't play full games, you don't have a long, runway in spring training, and then you come in and you have the regular season, the ramp up. Like, yeah, you're bound to get hurt. It's just going from 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah, that's true. And most of the injuries, especially on the pitching side, happen in the first month of the season because they're still building up to the season. So yeah, that's fair. And I like baseball being played in April, of course. I do think though it's just an entirely different sport almost than what we see in July. Like the way the Yankees are playing right now. It's like, how mad can I get at the Yankees when they're playing in 30-degree weather and the bats aren't getting going? Like,
Come on, man. You're making excuses for this. And we got to talk about the real baseball now. Let's just go in and talk about what's going on. I mean, the whole cold weather, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the cold weather stuff. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
But before, let's go. Let's talk about where do you want to start this week?
Let's start with the World Series rematch, Dodgers, Blue Jays.
Bro, they got the belt. The Blue Jays got the belt. And I think we talked about it on Sunday night on how, the problems of the Blue Jays are mounting. Dodgers won Monday 14-2. They won Tuesday 4-1, and then miraculously on Wednesday they won 4-3. Pretty nutty. Scherzer left the game with forearm tendonitis. And they say he's going to make. Schneider said, the manager said, he's going to be able to start on time next go round to start. But man, oh man, I mean, the Blue Jays are already putting themselves in a hole here early on in the season, and the Dodgers are doing all this without Mookie Betts. They're doing it with a cold bats that is Kyle Tucker, Shohei Ohtani, and Freddie Freeman. And slowly but surely, they're heating up. And if they get heated up and they get healthy with the pitching, with Blake Snell coming back and their pitching gets right, this is going to be a scary team. And I think we know it, like, the Dodgers are playing for October. But the facts are, like, it's getting really, really dark for the Blue Jays in the sense, like, they're making really simple mistakes defensively. The rotations hurt, and the bullpen hasn't been great. And I think that's what we saw firsthand this week.
Yeah, on Monday, like, again, I think, like, the story for the Dodgers so far this season has kind of been the other guys outside of Freeman, Betts, Ohtani. Now, Ohtani has 3 home runs, so does Freeman. Teoscar has 2, but on Monday night, Dalton Rushing had a 2 home run game. He's up to 3 on the season. We know what Andy Pages has been doing. We've talked about him a lot. He's been incredible this season so far. He has a 1.112 OPS with 3 home runs and a 413 batting average. Ha-Seong Kim only has 7 at-bats, but in those 7 at-bats, he has 3 hits, so he's hitting 429. Alex Call, again, only 9 at-bats, but he's hitting 444. Dalton Rushing, only 9 at-bats, but he's hitting 667. The bottom half of the lineup for the Dodgers has been stepping up, and that is just a scary thing for opposing fans, because once those other guys like Kyle Tucker, who's still having a good season so far, he's hitting 273 with a 741 OPS. But once he really starts to get into gear, once Mookie Betts really starts to get into gear, once he's healthy again, hopefully that's soon, they're a freaking scary team, man. Ohtani, he's only hitting 267. Of course, he has an 896 OPS, so like he's still, having a good season by a normal person's standards, but by Ohtani standards, he's not at that level yet. And I just think, man, once this team fully kicks it into gear offensively, which they will, they're going to be – I think they're going to be almost impossible to beat, especially in a 7-game series. I mean, if you look at their team stats right now, they're first in average, second in OBP, first in OPS, second in runs, first in home runs. Like, this team is incredible. And credit to the Blue Jays for at least getting one off them. There are only 2 teams right now in Major League Baseball that have beaten the Dodgers, and that's the Guardians twice and the Blue Jays once.
But I know we talk about the Dodgers, but like I said, I think this is more about the Blue Jays. Again, it's getting to the point where it's just like we have to start asking the questions like, what's wrong with this team? Are we seeing them regress back to the mean, to what they're supposed to be? And the injuries are just piling up that, you can't continuously pile up these injuries and then expect to be ready to go in contention. The only thing that they should be happy about, or like the silver lining, is that the Mariners suck and the Yankees can't run away with the division right now when they play teams like the Marlins and the A's.
Yeah, the Yankees had a brutal series. We'll get to that. We also had Alejandro Kirk on Tuesday. He underwent a thumb surgery for his fractured left thumb. He's expected to miss about 6 weeks. They put a screw into his thumb. So we're going to see Tyler Heineman and a rookie, Brandon Valenzuela, fill in for Kirk while he is injured. I mean, with the Blue Jays, like, yes, they've been playing bad defense, but like the numbers don't necessarily bear that out. They're 4th in defensive rating according to Fangraphs. They're 4th in outs above average. The bullpen, though, man, has been terrible. They're 26th in bullpen ERA. That's a major concern. I think they're going to turn things around. They play Minnesota, Milwaukee, and Arizona for the next 3 series, and they're only 5-7, which is only 3 games back in the American League East. There's 140-something games left. Like, if the Blue Jays went on a 5-7 run in the middle of June, would people be freaking out? Absolutely not. This team got off to a slow start last year. They were like 500 in May and then kicked it into gear in the summer. So I really have no concerns about the Blue Jays just yet. They have to get healthy. I think that's the clear early storyline with this team. They got to play better defense too, even though I know that I said the numbers don't bear that out. But I mean, if you look at their injury list right now, It's Alejandro Kirk, Addison Barger, who went down with a sprained ankle this week, Anthony Santander, Jose Barrios, Shane Bieber, Bowden Francis, Cody Ponce, Trey Savage, and maybe Max Scherzer. That is like their entire starting rotation damn near is on the injured list.
Well, I think the thing with the Blue Jays defense is I think it's just like timely errors. It's again, we talk about the Yankees. Oh, the Yankees had one of the best offenses last year in Major League Baseball. The thing with the Yankees were last year, it's like they didn't get the timely hit. I feel like with the Blue Jays this year, it's like when they make the errors with men on base, and it's costing them runs. It's not like it's not like an E6 Anthony Volpe where he's spiking it into the ground with no men on.
Yeah, and like Kazuma Okamoto hasn't been good defensively right now. It's still very early, but he only has a -1 outs above average, which is not good. His savant page isn't pretty. He's striking out 39% of the time. I know he got off to a pretty good start, and we were like, okay, we're kind of all in on Okamoto. We saw him at the WBC, and we felt pretty good about him, but he's kind of come back down to earth a little bit. 239 batting average, 705 OPS. I'm very curious to see what happens to him this year coming over from the MPB. It's always a challenging transition, unless you're Ohtani, of course. And we've seen Murakami too, which maybe we'll talk about a little bit later, but he struggled as well. So I don't know. Okamoto didn't have the pedigree of some of the other guys coming over from Japan. So he's one of the more fascinating players that I'm tracking this year. Let's talk about the Ohtani drama. So on Wednesday, he pitched 6 innings, scoreless, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. They did lose that game. He extended his on-base streak as a hitter to 43 games, but his scoreless inning streak as a pitcher was snapped at 24.2. And there was some drama because, as we know, the Dodgers or MLB, the umpires allow Ohtani a little bit of extra time in between innings to get ready, especially innings that he was on the bases or just hitting. And there were some quotes from Dave Roberts after the game. He said, quote, "Just talking about the World Series, I think they," referring to the Blue Jays, "were a little frustrated about how long Shohei takes in between innings. But if he's on the bases, there's got to be some grace, which is what the umpires are trying to give him. Yeah, if you're on the other side, you're trying to rush him as much as possible and treat him like any other pitcher. But the truth is that he's different. But I understand their gripe." Ohtani himself conceded that he might have felt some fatigue and didn't feel that great during Wednesday's outing, but still completed 6 innings and allowed just an unearned run in the Dodgers' loss. That was from The Athletic. Luis, what are your thoughts? Do you think Ohtani should get extra time in between innings as a pitcher?
No, I mean, we should treat Ohtani like any other pitcher. Again, these are Ohtani rules. It's like he's getting some special rules to pitch and everything because he's a two-way. He's one of the first of his kind. We haven't seen a guy like this in a while or ever. And so I feel like he shouldn't be getting these extra rules. And again, you mentioned it. It was something that happened in the World Series, so it's not anything new. I just kind of think these are just mind games being played by the Blue Jays. Again, the Blue Jays are just playing games again, trying to dark arts, as we would call them in soccer.
Try to rattle him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole nothing burger. Like, you're not going to rattle a guy who is an elite pitcher, an elite batter. Like, he had the whole betting investigation, and he still did really well. Nothing rattles the guy. Like, his temperament is second to none.
Last year, he had the real estate thing, which we really haven't heard much on of late. Yeah, I think with Ohtani, like, I know it's not an apples to apples argument, but we used to have pitchers hitting in the National League for 100 years or something like that. Again, I know like 99.9% of them weren't taking hitting as seriously as Shohei Ohtani, but it was still a thing that happened, and they didn't get any extra time to get ready to pitch the next inning. So I think, look, I recognize what Dave Roberts says in that Ohtani is different. It is true. He is a unicorn. We've never seen anything like him, but I also think he should just get the same amount of time that everyone else does. I don't think this is a huge deal, but the Blue Jays are trying to make it a big deal.
Hey, did you see Jeff Hoffman finally got a save?
Yeah, I'm proud of him. Second save of the season.
Like I said, he's no blow up start, but yeah, I think, look, I think it's early in the season. I know we want to overreact, but it's, the Jays got to get it together. And they got in Minnesota, is pesky. They're garbage, but they're pesky. But I think that Brewers series is going to be a real interesting one that they have coming up. So
let's talk about some of these fights across Major League Baseball this year, and we'll weave in the series as well because there were some important results in these matchups. Milwaukee-Boston. Milwaukee drops 2 out of 3 to the Red Sox. So the Red Sox, huge series win for them, moved to 4-8 on the season.
Yeah, I wonder what Nesson and W Fan are all saying about the Red Sox now. Like, oh my God, the season's falling. But now you take 2 out of 3 against the NL's best. Okay, like
one of the NL's best.
But that's the point. There's no need to panic. What did I say a week and a half ago? There's like no need to panic. It's nothing.
And now they have a nice central road trip against St. Louis and Minnesota. In the Monday game, which is the lone game that the Brewers won, Brandon Woodruff drilled Wilson Contreras. Wilson Contreras has been hit 131 times in his career, including 24 times by the Brewers, which is 10 more than any other team. Woodruff himself has hit Contreras 6 times. So naturally, Contreras took some, he did not like that. And after the game, Contreras said, "This was crazy." Contreras said, "They always say, I'm not trying to hit you. That gets old. So next time they hit me again, I'm going to take one of them out." And that's a message. Wow. Then Kristen Yelich followed up after the game. He said, "I mean, we've seen that skit for the last 10 years. It's nothing new." Woodruff himself said, "I mean, quote, we've been through that. It's been like 9 years for me. He's trying to play the game and he's trying to get his side fired up, which is fine. Once I knew that was going on, I wasn't going to let it affect me." And then after he was on first, he was running it to second, Contreras, and he spiked David Hamilton at second base, trying to break up the double play. Luis, what are your thoughts on this one? Is it something? Is it nothing?
Look, man. Wilson Contreras, he's been playing for the Cubs and the Cardinals. So it's kind of like low-hanging fruit that he's kind of been hit 130, 10 more times with the Brewers. I mean, look how many more times have you played the Brewers compared to any other MLB player. It's just natural. It's like really low hanging fruit. I'd like to see because I know a lot of times when I was watching the Reds that Jonathan India was one of the league leaders or up there with most hit by pitches because he's on the plate. So I'm generally curious, like how close in the plate does Contreras get? Because with India, it was an occupational hazard. I mean, getting hit by a baseball is always going to be an occupational hazard. But Jonathan India is literally like on the plate when you look at him hit. And that's why he gets hit so many times at the plate because he's literally like on the plate damn near. Again, I think it's nothing. I mean, it's not like they're going to play each other again this season unless they make the World Series. There's not a return fixture. So it's just whatever.
To the point of him playing for the Cardinals and the Cubs, he's played the Brewers 123 times in his career, which is more than any other team. He's played the Pirates 116 times, which is second, and the Reds 104 times, which is third. No other team he's played more than 100 times. So that is definitely a factor. I think just the amount of reps that he's gotten against the Brewers is part of the reason that he's been hit more than by them more than any other team. I think it's a nothing burger. Again, he seems to be a guy that plays with a lot of fire and takes things personally. But
can we talk about how he's picked it up at the plate and talk about the Red Sox now? How the Red Sox look good right now, 2 out of 3. Yeah. You win the Tuesday game, the Crochet start. Crochet goes 6 1/3, 7 strikeouts, out dueling Mazeroski, who pitched 5 1/3, 10 strikeouts, and then they win Wednesday 5-0. I mean, look, man, like I said, just wait for those moving pieces to start settling in with Contreras and let Roman get a little bit hot. And I was having this combo with a particular somebody, and I was saying that the main issue again, and I'll say it again here with the Red Sox, is that there's so many moving pieces and moving parts that are settling into their roles, and they're figuring it out. And I mean, last year with the Red Sox, the biggest issues with the Red Sox was again that they had so many pieces that they were always trying to figure out who were their guys and who were their pieces. This year, it's kind of with the loss of Alex Bregman, Christian Campbell being in the minors, it's kind of more of solidified in the sense that there's not many parts moving in that lineup. I mean, your outfield is always going to be a combination of Ceddanne Rafaela, which Ceddanne's your center fielder because he is a Gold Glover. Willier's bat and glove is basically locked in the lineup at right, and then you're stuck with left field, a combination of Roman Anthony and Jaron Duran, which right now with Roman's noodle arm, I think you put Duran out there and left. And then the infield, you don't have Tristan Casas because he's hurt, and then you don't have Alex Bregman. So now your infield is basically locked into the sense that it's some combination of Wilson Contreras at first, Trevor Story at short, Marcelo Meyer at shortstop, second base, and then it's going to be Caleb Durbin or Andrew Monasterio, which is kind of like the empty void that they have at third base because Bregman left. Again, I just think that this team, let the weather get a little bit hot, let these pieces settle in, the rotation's better, and you're going to see some good results. There's no need to panic. Again, the only reason you're panicking, like I said, the reason that they're panicking is because they don't have the signings that they wanted to. This team's going to be a good playoff team, and I'll stand on it.
I completely agree. I mean, there's too much talent on this team for them to go under 500 or at 500. I mean, had they lost this series, I think the alarm bells would have been sounding at a higher level because they were 2-8 heading into it. They would have been, 2-11, 3-10, something like that. Then you're, I don't know if the math works out in that sentence, but either way, if they fell even further under 500, like, okay, there's some concern, but now they're heading into this road trip against teams that are not that good, pretty average teams in Minnesota and St. Louis, and they're feeling better about themselves. So I think this is a playoff team. I'm not giving up on them. Like Roman Anthony hasn't even gotten it going yet. He's only hitting .217 with a .656 OPS, 1 home run on the season, 6 walks to 16 strikeouts. Again, Roman Anthony is too good of a player to have those numbers over the course of 162. He's going to turn it around. I am worried a little bit about his noodle arm out there in left field. I'm not going to lie. He's had some really bad throws.
Hey, make him the DH or me. I don't know. There's ways to get around it.
There was one, so on the Monday night game, essentially he had a bad throw home that was on the play that the Brewers scored the go-ahead runs, and Anthony said, quote, "It was a terrible throw again. We didn't have a shot with that throw. Got to be better. It was terrible. 2-run score. It's awful. It's awful to be a part of. I feel like it's on me." He's got to get it going, man.
And just think, I think he's pressing too much, to be honest, at this point. I think with the contract, the WBC, he kind of feels it in a way, and it's all, he's an overnight celebrity in the sense that, last year, many Red Sox fans didn't know who he was. If the true ball knowers knew, oh, this is the guy coming up. But it wasn't until the back half of the season when he broke onto the scene. And from breaking onto the scene, being the juggernaut that the Red Sox were with him in the lineup, making the playoffs, unfortunately losing to Cam Schlittler in game 3, and he gets the contract. And then you get the WBC call over guys like Riley Green, Stephen Kwan, like guys who have been productive in multiple MLB seasons. It kind of just came at once. And so I kind of feel like, we see it with the WBC guys right now. There's a little bit of fatigue, and I put that in quotation marks, fatigue, but it's just a matter of time. And I just feel like the pressure's getting to him. Boston's not an easy market to play in either.
Yeah. And this is clearly the year where he is the franchise guy. Last year, he got the call up. He got the contract pretty early on, but this is the year where everyone's looking at him like, it's our guy. I mean, Bregman's gone. It's our franchise guy. We expect him to be – people were putting him as an MVP candidate this year, and I just thought that was a little bit too early. But nonetheless, it was still a good series for the Red Sox, and I expect them to fully turn things around here pretty soon.
They look really good, man, and I think they'll be fine. I think they just need one more piece, a third baseman, and I think they'll be okay. Again, they have too many good natural talent on that team to be bad.
Let's talk about the other fight that happened this week. Braves versus Angels. Braves win 2 out of 3. The Angels won the Monday game. Jose Soriano, by the way, is looking freaking elite. He pitched 8 innings, 8 innings, 1 earned, 0 strikeouts, 0 walks, 10 strikeouts, 1 home run allowed. He has a 0.45 ERA through 3 starts this season. On Tuesday was when the drama happened. Reynaldo Lopez drilled Jorge Soler, who crushes the Braves. Obviously, he is a former Brave, won a World Series there in 2021. And Soler took some issue with that. He charged the mound, and both of them squared up, and then the benches cleared, And it was kind of one of those things in baseball where the guys get tackled, they don't actually fight. And the bullpen runs out, the dugouts. It's kind of just everyone standing out there in the middle of the field. Most people don't have beef except the two people. And I don't know. Again, they've got suspended for 7 games. They're appealing the suspension. Jorge Soler hit a home run on Wednesday during the appeal, which is his 3rd of the season. He hit 2 home runs in this series.
Hey, did you see the tackle that they made on the field? This is all comedy and jokes, man. I don't know what's going on in Anaheim, but in Anaheim, it seems like all the funny MLB stuff's coming out. You see Angel in the outfield, and then you see this fight, Mike Trout getting hit. This is just great. And I read the tweet of the night when this fight happened. As you mentioned, Jorge Soler is a former Brave, and a Braves fan tweeted down on Twitter. I'm not stealing credit. I'm just saying it. But you die a hero or live long enough to become a villain. That was the tweet. And I literally had myself a laugh in that sense. But in terms of the series, the Braves look pretty good, man. They look really, really good. And they're doing it without Ronald Acuna Jr. hitting the ball. Ronald Acuna Jr. is not hitting the ball well right now. He's been unlucky. There should be some sort of regression, positive regression coming soon.
Yeah.
And Michael Harris as well. And the facts are that Drake Baldwin is – you can go out and say Drake Baldwin's a top 3 MVP candidate right now, the way he's playing right now. Keep the Braves afloat. Matt Olson's hitting the ball well. Austin Riley's being okay right now. Hey, they look pretty damn good, man, the Braves.
Yeah. Drake Baldwin, one of the stories of the season so far, 321 batting average with a 1.013 OPS, 5 homers, which I believe is tied for the major league lead, 4 walks to 9 strikeouts. He has a double as well, 15 RBIs. He's been great. To your point, like Acuna has been pretty bad, 204 batting average, 575 OPS, 0 home runs on the season, 8 walks to 11 strikeouts. Another kind of WBC hangover example, but the good news for them, Ozzie Albies has been pretty strong. He has 3 home runs to start out the season through his first 13 games. Mauricio Dubon has been a nice pickup. He's hitting 333 with a 918 OPS, 2 home runs. He's very valuable in fantasy because he has like a million positional options. And they're doing that again. Remember, Ha-Seong Kim is out with that finger injury because was it a finger injury, something like that, slipped on ice over the offseason.
Some crazy injury. Sean Murphy injury is a blessing in disguise, letting Drake Baldwin get the full runway, and it's going to be an interesting thing. I know. I just saw that Sean Murphy's gonna rehab in Gwinnett. Like, what's gonna be the plan? You can't just you're not just gonna take Drake Baldwin out of the lineup.
No, he's your everyday catcher. He's got to be.
Or DH. I think, I don't know the framing and defense numbers right now for Drake, but I know Sean Murphy's a really good defender. Maybe you mix in some Sean Murphy back there at the plate for some defense and handling the staff, and then you could just worry with Drake Baldwin's bat at the plate because, he's been a revelation in that lineup. I know we saw shades of it, but he's literally making the argument to be a top 3, top 4 catcher right now in baseball.
Sean Murphy's got 3 years left at $15 million, so it's not like a short-term thing. He's on this roster at least under contract for a lot of more years. They have some injuries, obviously, in the rotation. Schwellenbach, Schmidt-Schauber, Strider's got that oblique. So hopefully, he starts to ramp up. Hurston Waldrop's injured. But if you look at their team numbers so far, 5th in average, 2nd in home runs, starting pitching, 4th in ERA. They have the best bullpen right now in baseball, 1st in ERA and 1st in WHIP, 1st in walks per 9, too, out of the bullpen. All of their numbers defensively are toward the top. Metrics-wise, numbers-wise, this team is playing really well, and they don't have their best player playing to the level that he can yet. So you got to be excited if you're a Braves fan. I think this lineup, especially if Dubon is going to be good for them, and then you get Ha-Seong Kim coming back, hopefully he's going to be good, and then you add in Sean Murphy, who we don't really know where he's going to play, how it's going to work out with him and Drake Baldwin. Obviously, catchers don't play every single day behind the dish, so they can figure something out, but you want Drake Baldwin's bat in the lineup every single day at this point. This is a good team, man. Austin Riley, he's been okay. 200 batting average, 552 OPS. That's pretty bad. 7 walks to 12 strikeouts. I want to see him get it going. We've seen him get it going in the past. He's got the hair this year with the beard. But, this team, I feel good about them. They play Cleveland and then Miami, their next 2 series.
Hey, Braves country, man. We're going to be here in Braves country this summer. It's going to be all about Braves country.
On that note, let's talk about some of these City Connect uniforms. We've had them release the 2026 batch.
Hey, I am in love with some of these uniforms. I'm gonna rank them right now. I think the best uniform out of the bunch is the Atlanta uniform. That Atlanta uniform is chef's kiss. It is beautiful. After that, the Pirates uniform also chef's kiss. If I am the Pirates, I make that I make that a staple, like alternate. Like I keep it. You can't get rid of the P, but I think the Pirates uniforms are damn good. The Konnor Griffin jerseys are already sold out within minutes. The City Connect Konnor Griffins.
It actually did.
Yeah, it did.
Wow.
The Royals are okay, maybe doing too much. San Diego, it's just copied from the pastel Hawaiian jerseys they had a couple of years back. The City Connects. Cincinnati's is just the same thing. I don't get the relation to the city. It's just a C, whatever.
It's the same uniform, but red, I think.
Yeah,
the black
exactly. It was black. And then the Baltimores are chill. I don't, not a fan of the hat. The 2 that I hate are the Wisconsin ones and the Texas ones. Those are terrible. Like the Texas ones look like a high school uniform. Not gonna lie, They look like some high school uniform out there in the country that they just like one color. It was the cheapest that they can get from their supplier, from whatever they order their jerseys, and it just says the name of the high school in the middle. I just hate them.
We're in alignment there. I think the Pirates ones are incredible. The hat is great too. I really want that hat. Atlanta, you can really never go wrong with powder blues, and Atlanta just knocked it out of the park with that one. The Baltimore ones are okay. I wish it said Baltimore. I love the old school bird logo that they go with. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, obviously you can see that we have the uniforms up on the screen. But if not, if you're listening on Apple Music or whatever, go subscribe on YouTube. We're at 392 subscribers, trying to get to 500 before the end of the season. The Royals one, they're okay. And I agree. Like the Texas one is by far my least favorite. It's terrible. It looks cheap. The Wisconsin ones, like I got beef with Wisconsin as a Chicagoan. We hate the Packers. We don't like the Brewers. Get out of here with that Wisconsin stuff.
And you don't like the Bucks.
I don't care about the Bucks. Actually, as a Grizzlies fan, we kind of we're friends with the Bucks because LeBron hates Milwaukee, and we're kind of trauma bonding through that.
Trauma bonding. It's like that YouTuber G-Fed, I think is what his name.
Shout out to G-Fed, man, doing the Lord's work. Shout out to G-Fed, man.
Amen. But yeah, I mean they're all right. But next topic of the day. Got a couple more topics today before we hop off. The AL West is so confusing, man. I actually got a deep dive this week of the West. While you were watching the Natty, I decided to watch the Colorado Rockies this week, which shout out to the Colorado Rockies. The Colorado Rockies right now already have a lot more wins than they did last year at this time of the season. They are 6-7. They were 6-6, 500 last night. Before they lost to the Padres, but shout out to them. They had a great series versus the Houston game versus the Astros. That Monday game was drunk. It was literally just doubles, triples into the alley. Like that outfield, like thinking about that Colorado team, like when you're building a team in Colorado, you literally have to have like defensive backs out there in the outfield because that outfield is big in Coors. Like it is very big. Like every single ball that was getting hit was in the gap, and that is nutty. But in regards to that, Rockies won 9-7 on Monday. They won 5-1 on Tuesday, and they won Wednesday 9-1. Again, great series for the Rockies. But Houston, what's going on, man? I mean, I think the thing with Houston is they're never going to fail. They're always going to score runs. And I think that's what we're seeing right now in the statistics department. They're third in home runs with 16 behind Atlanta and the Dodgers. They're number one in runs with 79, and they're number two in RBIs right now.
And in terms of WAR that the lineup is producing, they're tied for first with the Dodgers at 4.2. So again, the runs department's not the issues with the Astros. It's always about the pitching. The pitching has been one that has struggled. And to make matters worse this week, Christian Javier left with right shoulder tightness. They're already down Hunter Brown. So the rotation's already feeling the injuries, and this is already a very thin rotation. So it's going to have to – something's going to have to give for this team. Either, one, the rotation improves and matches the lineup, or is this lineup just, it's just a hot 2 weeks, 3 weeks that they're having?
Yeah, that's a very good – there's a chance that it's just a couple hot weeks. They are tops in baseball in a lot of the key metrics like OBP and runs. The rotation and the bullpen have been horrible. Obviously, Josh Hader's on the injured list too with the bicep injury. They're 29th in starting rotation ERA, 30th in bullpen ERA, 30th in bullpen WHIP. Defensively, their defensive metrics are in the 20s too, so they're not looking good there. And, dude, their whole freaking rotation is injured. Ronel Blanco, Hunter Brown. Now you got Christian Javier, Hayden Wesneski. I mentioned Josh Hader out of the pen. Like right now, their rotation is Mike Burrows, Christian Javier, TBD, could be injured, Tatsuya Imai, Lance McCullers, who had a good first start, and Cody Bolton. I don't think they're even with Hunter Brown back fully healthy, I don't think this rotation was going to be like World Series caliber or even really that good. So I'm worried about the Astros. I'm worried about pretty much every team in this division, to be honest. The good news for the Astros, they are hitting the ball. Like Jordan has 4 home runs already. Christian Walker, it's early. It's only 13 games for Christian Walker, but he's hitting 340 with a 1.040 OPS. Like that's very exciting. He was terrible for them last year, but seems to maybe be turning a corner, which you got to feel good about if you're an Astros fan. But also, if you're an Astros fan, you got to be freaking worried about this rotation. They're 6-7 right now, a game and a half back of Texas in the American League West. So
I think another thing to be excited about is Cam Smith. It's looking like they won the Kyle Tucker trade. Cam Smith looks like a guy you can build around.
Yeah, they won the Kyle Tucker trade easily because Tucker is now a Los Angeles Dodger and Cam Smith is still producing for the Astros. He's got a 908 OPS through his first 13 games. That's good. That's really good.
908 OPS, 523 slug, 385 OBP, 273 batting average today. He had a couple rough games, but he was hitting close to 300 after the Monday night game. So I think, he's looking like a guy they can build around. But I mean, this division is just terrible right now. I mean, Houston, are we worried about them? Yes, because you don't grow pitchers overnight. We're worried about Seattle as well. Seattle played Texas, and Texas swept them 2-1 on Monday, 3-2 on Tuesday, and 3-0 Wednesday. I think the biggest thing with this series is like, okay, yes, congratulations, Texas, you won. But I think it's more on Seattle. Seattle's just not hitting the ball well at all. I mean, they're striking out a lot. They're not getting runs across the plate. J-Rod, again, we'll start it again with J-Rod. Cal's not hitting the ball. Like, it's very concerning with this team because, again, it's not like Texas is, world beaters. Like, Texas is going to be a middle of the pack, 81 team in the AL. And that's just not good if you're getting swept.
It's a team that we thought, and it's still early, but we thought was one of, if not the best teams in the American League. And yeah, they are just not hitting whatsoever right now. Cal Raleigh, through his first 49 at-bats, has 21 strikeouts. He's hitting 143. Look, we saw the regression coming, right? I don't think it was going to be this bad. And again, it's still only just under 50 at-bats, so it's hard to judge a dude. But 143 with 21 strikeouts, that's pretty concerning.
Another thing, too, is as a team, Seattle ranks dead last in average at 184, dead last in OBP at 280, and dead last in slug at 301.
And dead last in OPS, 29th in runs. They have 78 hits. They're hitting 184. 184 as a team right now. They only have 11 home runs on the season. That is, look, you got to be worried if you're a Mariners fan. I know it's early, but they got a 4-game set with Houston this weekend. Actually, it's one of the rare ones where it starts on Friday, ends on Monday, kind of the wraparound series. That's a huge series early in the year. I feel like they'll end up probably splitting it, but it'll be very informative about some of these teams and kind of what we should expect from the American League West this year. Because right now, pretty much everyone in this division is like hovering around 500. And again, it's only like 13 games, but I don't know. Like, are any of these teams going to break away? Because it just doesn't feel like it.
But this just goes around, and I'm actually going to give credit to this creator, this baseball creator. She Baseball for Baddies. I was watching one of her reels last night, and she was like, after 2 weeks of baseball, there's no one team, and I'm saying exactly what she's saying. There's just like no one team that like tickles me or gets me up, gets me going. That I'm like, oh yeah, that team, I'm going to see them in the World Series. Or like, oh, I can see this team playing all the way through October. There's like not that one dominant team. Obviously, people are going to see the Dodgers, but the Dodgers have shown clear, faults in the armor so far. But there's like not that one team right now that like I'm like, yes, this team looks that good, or I can see this team looking this good. That will be in October.
I think for me, the answer is the Dodgers. That's the obvious one. Outside of the Dodgers,
it's obvious.
Outside of the Dodgers, I would agree with that sentiment for sure.
Listen, so yeah, Baseball for Baddies made that point, and I was like, this is smart. But yeah, I mean, this division again, it's so confusing. I think again, we need more sample size. We need more data. We need some more data or data, however you want to call it.
On that note, let's talk about the Yankees series because they played the Athletics.
Did you watch the series?
Unfortunately, I did, yes.
Dude, I was losing my head yesterday. How do you get one hit by Jeffrey Springs? It was literally the 7th inning, and I literally, I'm on a social media, I'm on a phone cleanse, and I'm literally like typing emails, which I think William, you was probably laughing. I think Kayla's probably laughed at like, and it's like 4-9, 4-10, like they're dated. Getting no hit by Jeffrey Springs into the 7th inning.
Yeah, the email is kind of refreshing. It's a nice way to communicate versus just being on the phone 24/7. But I don't know. I blame it on the cold weather. Once this hot weather gets going, they'll start hitting because no one's hitting in the cold weather. But look, the Yankees have been terrible offensively right now. 28th in batting average. They're 15th in OBP, 22nd in OPS. Again, it's early, preface all the caveats, et cetera, et cetera. But this series
Judge has been terrible. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, the series was terrible. Yeah.
Judge has been terrible. And I mean, for what we're accustomed to with Mr. Aaron Judge, he hasn't been good this year. He hasn't been, let's just preface it, he hasn't been Aaron Judge. He's hitting 222, 7 RBIs, 10 hits, 15 strikeouts, and 45 at-bats in 12 games played. I don't know. He just looks like his timing's a tick bit off.
Yeah.
I was watching the game last night and the games prior, and when he's swinging the bat, I just feel like, he's missing balls that, we're used to him hitting and nuking out, in June, July. Again, there was specifically a ball. I remember that he was late on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball up and right in the middle of the zone. And we know Judge takes those, and he swung right through it. And that's fine. I mean, I'm not sounding the alarm bells there. I mean, I think I'm not going to be like the Yankee Twitter fan going around that we need a new third baseman. We need shortstop cover. I'm not going to go out and beat that drum again and again. I think we know that Ryan McNabb will not be the starter come postseason time for the Yankees. I think the biggest thing I want to point out is, and I thought about this and it was tweeted, is that Aaron Boone's leash this year is so short on starters. And we're talking about a rotation that is relatively young when you look at Cam Schlittler, Will Warren and company. It's very young. And for a perfect example of that was the game on Wednesday night where Will Warren gets himself into a jam and they pulled him, I think it was 4 2/3, and they go to the bullpen. The bullpen is getting taxed out of the mind. And going and watching games, and I know William, we've been watching a lot of the games this season. We watch a lot of the ball that they play. There's every night the bullpen is getting used, not just 2 or 3 guys. We're using 4 or 5 guys, and they're pitching pretty extensively. It's not like they're pitching 8, 7 pitches. They're pitching into close to the 20s or over the 20s. And when you think about that, it's like a car. My analogy of a car. When you get the car off the lot, aka the start of the season, there's not a lot of mileage. It's great. But as the season progresses and you keep increasing the mileage and keep using the car, you're going to run into injuries at the end of the season, and you're going to run into postseason time where these arms have been used, I don't know how many innings, and they're not just that effective anymore. It's just the wear and tear the season's going to bear on. And Boone has just been using these arms, not letting the starters, like, yeah, okay, I understand if the starters don't give you length, but man, there's sometimes where you just got to let your young starter or just get into these jams and get out of them, just to just grow some confidence and grow some toughness. It's the leash is too short. Like, I mean, Bednar's been pitching 30, 40 pitches, and then Cade Winquist, we were like, what's his point on the roster if you're going to take a Rule 5 on him? They just DFA'd him.
Yeah.
And he's going back to the Cardinals because, of course, Heel's coming up today. But my case in point is like, we need Boone to show something with these starters. Give him a longer leash.
Ironically, the Yankees are second to last in bullpen innings pitched at 40, the second fewest, but it doesn't feel like that. Like, we've had Bednar go a couple really long outings, like 40 plus pitches early in the season. Yeah, that's a story. I mean, I think the biggest story from this series is probably just how bad McMahon's been this year. And I know we both agree that, look, he's probably not going to be the guy come October, but I think it's pretty disappointing that you go out and trade 2 prospects for this guy. You're paying him like close to $20 million a year. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's a high number. And he has 2 hits through his first 29 at bats. Like, he is statistically probably the worst qualified hitter in all of baseball right now. It's just been terrible. And then you have Ahmed Rosario come in and have the Ahmed Rosario game on Monday night with the 2 home runs, the game winner. That was Tuesday night. The game winner, go-ahead 3-run home run in the bottom of the 8th off Mark Leiter Jr., which, thank you, Mark Leiter Jr., doing the double operative work there for us. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, who do you start at third base? Like, Rosario got the start on Wednesday, and then they put McMahon at shortstop.
Rosario wasn't great. I'm telling you.
Volpe, we need Volpe back.
Volpe's back next week. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Last night I was at work yesterday, and I was looking at my phone, and I need a shortstop in fantasy baseball, and I was looking at Armand's team down there in the cellar, and I was like, man, Anthony Volpe looking real nice right now for my team.
100%.
I don't have it, but I mean, hey, him coming back next week could be something. It's just, again, what do we have to do to get Waldo at this point? What does Waldo have to do to get some third base reps? Yeah. And like, congrats. Like, McMahon has an elite glove at third, but what do we got to do to see some Waldo at bats? I mean, Ahmed Rosario, Goldschmidt. Why can't we get some more Goldschmidt ABs? Like, even yesterday when the game was on the line, let's get some Goldie ABs. Randall Grichuk, man, he's a pinch runner, but man, So
yeah,
I don't know, man. Look, I'll just say this. My point is, I want to see something this weekend when they play Tampa. And my other point is, David Bednar is also on the hook as well. Let's just keep that in mind. David Bednar is that fastball velo's a little bit down, hasn't pitched a clean inning or shutdown inning. I'm on to you.
Yeah, he blew the game on Wednesday, gave up the winning run in the top half of the 9th. Yeah, it was a frustrating series, really frustrating for the Yankees. All right, we got to wrap it up here. Got to get going. But are there any other things you want to hit on? Konnor Griffin got the extension this week, 9 years, $140 million, largest guarantee to a Pirates in franchise history.
Let's just run through the series quickly. I'll run through the series quickly. It won't take us long. Did you watch any Cubs Rays? Cubs won 2 out of 3, Rays 6-4. Big news out of Cubs world is Cade Horton needing surgery to repair the ulnar collateral ligament, the UCL. Nico Horner looking like an MVP kid. Any thoughts there?
We listened to this one on the radio on the way over to Michigan, which is where I am right now. Also Matthew Boyd to the injured list with a left bicep strain. That's a tough one. Rays played their first game back in the Trop in 561 days, but Cubs look good. Offense finally got going. 16 hits on Tuesday night, and then Horner 3 for 5 on Wednesday. So they're turning things around, but really concerned about their pitching right now.
Yeah, I think they need to make that call for Sandy. Here real soon.
Reunite Sandy and Edward. That'd be nice.
Hey, a lot of Cubs fans. Cubs fans are like Yankees fans in the way that they complain so much. I mean, they were like, "Man, I wish we had Owen Casey and Cam Smith in the outfield, other than what we have right now.
Yeah.
Kansas City, Cleveland, I caught a lot of the series. It was a day series. This is more like what I was listening to while I was working. Guardians won 2 out of 3. Carter Johnson looking pretty good. Gavin Williams, if he can be consistent, he could be a guy that we could potentially see in the future. Maybe this year if he gets it going more in the AL Cy Young race. I really like what I see from Gavin. It's just consistency with him.
Yeah.
Cole Cleveland got hit with the comeback run. I saw that happen live. So
he should be fine, but left thumb contusion, just a bruise. J-Ram breaking the franchise record for career games played, 1,620. So congratulations to him. And it's early, but the Guardians have a 4-game lead over the Tigers in that division. It's early.
It's early. Reds played the Marlins down here in Miami. You want to know what the average attendance was one night for the game?
One night or for the whole series?
One night. One night, but I read the stat.
4,000.
8,000.
Oof.
So they had 8,000. South Stewart's hot still. They won Monday and Tuesday. Monday they won 2-0. Reds won Tuesday 6-3, where Sandy got pulled in the 9th, which was a little bit controversial. Marlins won the next 2. William, what do you think about Sandy getting pulled in the 9th on Tuesday night?
And then he wasn't happy about it. He wasn't happy. I think it was like a double and a walk to start the inning, so I don't blame McCullough pulling him in that situation. Only 95 pitches, though. You probably want to ride with your dude there, the guy that's shoving that night. I mean, he has a 0.74 ERA through his first 3 starts this season. I probably would have left him in. Easier, hindsight is 2020. The Reds came back to win the game, so I don't know. You can go either way there, but I probably would have I would have kept with my guy.
Yeah, a lot of Marlins fans are excited about how this team has a winning record right now. So,
I think they're going to be pesky. I mean, they're 8-5. They play Detroit and Atlanta the next 2 series. The Atlanta series will be interesting. I want them to fall off because I want them to trade Sandy
for podcast purposes.
Yeah.
Here, Bossman Williams talking here. Padres played the Pirates. Padres got right. They got 2 out of 3, winning Monday 5-0, and then Wednesday 8-2. The Wednesday game was just was one of those games that was like a slow death for the Pirates. It was Connor Griffin Day. I actually heard this game live and was actually listening to the commentary of the GM for the Pirates.
Ben Cherington, yeah.
Ben Cherington, he was talking about how Connor Griffin and everything. And so some interesting comments, but again, they got the contract and no trade clause at the age of 19, William. Discuss.
There's some legitimate pressure for him to perform now. I thought one of the more interesting quotes was from Paul Skeens, who said he's going to be the face of the franchise for the foreseeable future. Paul Skeens, you gone? Listening. Noticing. Brian Windhorst meme.
Yeah.
Congrats to Connor Griffin, though. That's awesome. That's a lot of money.
Not many takeaways from the Cardinals and Nationals. Cardinals won 2 out of 3 Monday. The Nationals won 9-6. Cardinals won Tuesday 7-6, and they won Wednesday 6-1. Again, Jordan Walker could be a guy we could be dropping a Substack article soon. I think that'll be a guy we'll deep dive on Sunday and talk about Jordan Walker. He looks looking real good right now. A lot of homers.
Yeah. 5 home runs through his first 12 games. We can talk more about him on Sunday, but he's off to a hot start. If you watch this series, you may be entitled to financial compensation.
Hey, Orioles got the sweep, three-game sweep. Zach Eflin's biggest news out for the season with elbow discomfort, but 3-game sweep for the Orioles. I don't know if you saw I think it was Chris Bassett who had not Chris Bassett. I think it was Kyle Bradish who had one of the pitches of the season.
That was oh my god! Oh.
Yeah, it was so dumb. He let the ball go and just started everything. But not many takeaways there.
For those that didn't see, the catcher threw it back to Kyle Bradish, who missed the ball, he dropped it, and then he walked after the ball, and Chase Meidroth came in to score from. I think he was on second base at that point.
Yeah.
If that's the type of thing that if it happens at the high school level, I'm literally running until I throw up. I am getting pulled from the game immediately. That was incredibly embarrassing. But good news for the Orioles. They swept the White Sox, which was a much needed get right series. Shane Smith, the White Sox opening day starter, was optioned to AAA on Wednesday. That's interesting. And Taylor Ward off to a hot start, 4 for 5 on Wednesday with 3 doubles.
Yep. Hey, Phillies and Giants. Giants went 2 out of 3. Again, the Phillies.
Ooh,
what we say about the Phillies, man? Phillies are struggling right now. Again, the Phillies began the trip with a 7-run first inning at Coors because they started out in Colorado last week. And then they scored 12 runs over the next 53 games. One extra base hit, one extra base hit over the 2 games in Oracle, a place that they have not won the series against the Giants since 2013. A 20-inning scoreless streak. Again, the Phillies might just suck.
the offense is really struggling right now. A lot of pull side ground balls. Their manager was calling that out after the game on Wednesday. Thompson. Why am I forgetting his Rob Thompson?
Rob Thompson.
Yeah, former Yankee bench guy or whatever. Yeah. From the Athletic, it's not unusual for the Phillies' entire lineup to go into launch mode where every swing is designed with a home run in mind. The fact that it's happening now so soon into the season makes it more noticeable. The Phillies have a 6.58 OS through 12 games. That is tied for their lowest mark in the first 12 games of a season over the last decade. It is a lot of home run or bust guys on that lineup, in that lineup. So,
and then finally, last night, series ended last night. The Diamondbacks won 2 out of 3 against the Mets. The Mets won on Tuesday 4 out of 3. Wednesday, Diamondbacks 7-2. And then last night, the Diamondbacks won 7-1, I believe. I fell asleep watching this game.
It's a big win, though, yeah.
Big win for the Diamondbacks. I mean, it was a game that I'm going to be honest last night. The Mets had all the opportunities to win the game last night. They really were in control. They had guys to move in, get on base. Vientos couldn't get the hit. The guys just couldn't bring the guys home and get that. And then the bullpen just blew it for them, and they ended up getting the 7 runs. The D-backs got the 7 runs, and it was just tough. But again, the Mets aren't awful. It's just going to be, like I said, it's going to be a Broadway show. There's going to be good, bad, and the ugly with this team. And
they got to get the rotation going. Right now, they're 12th in starting pitching ERA, 12th in WHIP, 17th in walks per 9. David Peterson's been struggling to start the season. Despite his 5 scoreless innings in his first start of 2026, his ERA since the second half of last season is a 5.09. These last 2 starts came against one of the worst offenses in baseball, and the Giants, and then the Diamondbacks, who are, they haven't been great offensively. They entered Wednesday's game with a 638 OPS as a team, which was 12th in the National League. Look, good series win for the Diamondbacks. Obviously, I'm excited about them. Their offense. The Mets, they'll figure it out. It's still very early. They're 7-6. They got a fun week next week for the Mets, at Dodgers and then at Cubs. That's a prove it week for the Mets. They got the A's this weekend, which should be a win. But I don't know. A's maybe a little pesky.
A's are getting hot right now. I mean, so we'll see what's up. So we'll be back Sunday. Got a classic 2:20 game today, 1:20 start time out in Chicago today. So we'll be enjoying that one throughout the day. But we'll be back Sunday night. William will be back home, so hopefully, weather permitting, transportation permitting. And so keep it locked. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. So follow us on X/Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Make sure you share those reels, and also on TikTok, my guy. So till next time.
That's all we got. Yep. Keep it locked. Thank you guys for listening. Also didn't mention the Twins swept the Tigers in 4 games. So shout out to the Twins.
Yeah, don't remind me of that one because Framber got absolutely shelled after an inning.
He got absolutely shelled. But Luis said it. We'll be back on Sunday. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until then, catch you next time. Peace out.